Welcome back to the Now Morning Show, and we're going to be talking to a representative from the Alpha Lodge number 20, the 8th Masonic District of the Most Worshipful Grand Lodge of Boston, Massachusetts, because they are celebrating their 57th anniversary. And so joining me this morning to discuss the Freemasons and the plan for the anniversary is Worshipful Master Keiron Regis. Mr. Regis, good morning.
Good morning, ma'am. Good morning, Trinidad and Tobago. Thank you for having me.
How are you this morning?
I'm exceptionally excellent, actually.
Nice.
Thank you.
I love that response. Everybody's coming on with such a good energy. I love it.
Perfect. It's Monday.
All right. So we would have had somebody to discuss Freemasonry before, but I wanted to provide a bit of context. So just tell us exactly what is Freemasonry, and we can take it from there.
Okay. Freemasonry is an well, let me get more specific to Prince Hall Masonry.
Yes.
So Prince Hall Masonry was founded in the 1700s by Most Worshipful Prince Hall.
Right.
Right. Him and 14 other men of color first approached St. John's Lodge, which was located in the United States of America, for membership. They were denied. Racism was a major thing at that time.
Of course, yes.
Right? And so they then approached an Irish lodge. And the Irish lodge granted them permission to join the lodge. They also granted them permission to have meetings and to also bury their dead under Masonic rites. From there, fast-tracking to modern day, we have several districts, Trinidad and Tobago being a part of the 8th Masonic District. Right? So in a nutshell, that's the history of our organization.
Yeah.
Right? So what is Prince Hall all about? Well, I am the Worshipful Master of Alpha Lodge number 20. And what we are actually about, we are an organization that heavily invests in making good men better. Right? So we are strong on human development. We do a lot of charity work. Some of it would be in the public domain. Some of it would not be in the public domain. The purpose behind that, well, being so public about our charities now, is because of the fact that we recognize that in Trinidad and Tobago we have a huge increase in crime. We are seeing a lot of young men gravitating towards that negative aspect of society. And we decided that we want to change that. The best way to change that is to lead by example. Hence the reason why if you go on our Facebook page, Alpha Lodge number 20, or even go on Instagram, you will see examples of us doing a lot of charity work with the hope that it would inspire others. And we have evidence where it has inspired others to do charity works as well.
Now, let me just jump in here. You mentioned the charity work. You mentioned the fact that it's about making men better. Does that mean that women are not included in joining the lodge? Ironically,
we fairly recently started a chapter in Trinidad called the Order of the Eastern Star, right? That allows women. The name of the chapter is Esther chapter number 22.
Nice.
Right? But there are some limitations there yet still, and I would use that word because it is more designed for the wives, the mothers, the sisters, and the daughters of Master Masons. However, the Grand Master, Brother Maidnan, he decided, all right, let's open it up to persons who are friends of Masons that we believe that could contribute to society. So hence the reason why we got the chapter started in Trinidad.
Nice. So there is a chapter for women.
Yes, sir.
And of course their objectives would be the same in terms of charity, investments, and that sort of thing. Okay, interesting. Now, I know that you are the Worshipful Master. There's also a Grand Master. Is there like different roles going down the hierarchy? How does it work? And we can't go through all, but tell us some of the key roles and key figures we can see in a Masonic lodge.
Okay. So I'll start off with the local lodge.
Yeah.
Right. So within the Masonic lodge, we have the Worshipful Master like myself. He basically would be the person in charge of the daily runnings of the lodge. From there, we have the Senior Warden. Right. In my lodge, that Senior Warden would be Jacob, Brother Jacob. I try to remember his last name at this point in
It's
time.
fine.
Oh, Lenville Jacob.
Right. Yes.
The Junior Warden would be Junior Hudson. Right. Then we have a treasurer. And we have a secretary.
Right.
Right, that's the structure, that's the hierarchy. Then it will go down to the other officers of the lodge. If you look at it on a Grand Lodge level, we have the Grand Master, right? He would be the person that would be in charge of all the districts within the planet.
Right.
Right, and he then would cast his vision and it would be disseminated down, and we would work with him to enforce that vision.
Right. Now, one of the things you also mentioned as well is that the lodge is becoming more public with the work that they're doing.
Yeah.
I feel for a lot of time, people were thinking, what is this lodge thing they're hearing about? And they were almost comparing it to a cult. And so I wanted us to jump into that a little bit deeper in terms of how can we dispel the rumors and maybe even the misconception that a lodge is a cult and that they're working in secret and they have some other ulterior motive that they're trying to get to.
That's a beautiful question. I'm happy that you asked that. I can tell you this. I've been a Mason since 2009 to present day. I would have heard all those things. They talk about how we, when you die, they will cut out your tongue and all this kind of foolishness, right? I can tell you, based on my personal testimony, that none of it is true. None of it is true, right? But again, because of how the human mind works, because they don't understand something, we tend to fill in the gaps for ourselves. And hence the reason why I believe that's the foundation for all the myths that began to circulate about Freemasonry. So no one is dragging any chain in the lodge, no one is doing that. We come together and we come up with systems and philosophies to make good men into better men, and ergo we also extend that into society. We have a saying in Masonry that any human being can access our kind office, and that is our purpose. So we want to allow individuals to access our kind office. So hence the reason why, as I mentioned to you before, we are investing heavily into charity work right now, especially, and we are being very public with it so that people can look at us as an example. We actually, right now, we are presently working on doing entrepreneurial programs. And we are hoping to be able to approach some of the schools that are there, more so the schools where the students are from, like areas that are prone to crime, you know, so that we can then inspire them to take the lead in improving their communities. But,
now, one of the things you keep mentioning as well, making men better. So we do have the arm for the women now, but how are you going to make men better? Is it the entrepreneurial workshops that you're talking about? Like, what else are you doing to improve the lives of these men?
Well, you see, everything is inspiration. Every single thing is inspiration. And a person has to be inspired to do good. A person has to be inspired to be great. And this is what we are aiming at, because we recognize that. Because what inspired you to become a journalist is because you wanted to better your situation, maybe, right? And we believe that it is the same thing for individuals out there in Trinidad and Tobago. So the person may have a rough start, but we want to be able to say, hey, here we're going on. You may have been dealt a bad hand in the game of life, but you can still work with what you have to do better.
But what is the exchange? So, for example, I'm a young man in my community. I want to do better. I come and I join the Mason
No, you don't
Lodge.
have to necessarily join.
Oh, so you can just come?
Yeah, just come to us and you show us some ambition, right? And we are willing to help you.
And how will you help them?
Well, we have to listen to what they want.
Right, okay.
Right? We have to start off there. So let's just say, because like I'm talking to a young man fairly recently, and he's saying to me that, hey, this school thing, it's not for me. I said, okay, so what do you like to do? I like to do mechanics. Okay, well, do mechanics. But turn your mechanical trade into a business that can generate an income for yourself and your family in the future. And this is the inspiration we want to run with. Take what you have and turn it into what you want.
Okay. And how can we, or the lodge, change the stigma that people have about it?
To be honest with you, me personally, I'm talking from, I am not interested in really changing the stigma per se. I'm just interested in doing good, right? And I think my organization follows me with that. And I think once people see us doing good, I believe the stigma eventually will start to change. So that is our focus, just do good for people, right? And inspire others to be great.
Now, you mentioned that you don't have to join the organization, but if somebody wants to join the organization, how can they go about doing that?
Okay, to be one, ask one. It is as simple as that. You don't need CXC passes and all this kind of thing. Once you are a good man, well spoken of, and you have good character, we can then evaluate you, ensure that what you're saying to us is true, and then we can proceed from there.
Someone has to recommend you, or you have to know somebody from the lodge to join, or just a random person wanting to get interested in it?
No, someone has to, you have to be recommended.
You have to be recommended,
Yeah.
okay. What's the reason for that?
Because again, you have to be a good man. And Masonry will make you into a better person. So we have to be sure of that, because in Masonry we say that we would not bring someone into the lodge that we would not bring into our homes. And this is the reason why we have to ensure that you are recommended by someone who is within the lodge before we can accept you.
And is there a membership fee to join?
Yes, there's a membership fee. To join, different lodges have different fees.
Okay.
As some might say $200, it could go all up to $1,500.
Okay. And this is the 57th anniversary. What sort of plans is the lodge planning for something as big as this?
Yeah. Well, basically what we were now talking about is what the lodge is planning to do for our anniversary. We just want to help people.
Right, okay. So there wouldn't be like a big fanfare dinner or anything like that. It's more about the work in the community, the work for the man?
Yeah, basically that's what it is all about.
Interesting. And what about your relationship with the international lodges as well? How is that? How does it work? Is it that you have to write a report to them? Is it that they check in from time to time? How does that work?
Well, at the end of the Masonic year, the district deputy Grand Master would write his report that would go up to the Grand Lodge based on the works that we would have conducted in Trinidad here, right? And then they would give their feedback on if they like it, they would vote on it to see how, if they approve of it, going down that line.
Right. And do you know how many Freemasons or how many lodges there are in TNT?
No, I can tell you that there are various constitutions of Freemasons. There's the Scottish, there's the English, and there's Prince Hall. Within Trinidad and Tobago, there are 3 Prince Hall lodges, which starts off with Alpha Lodge number 20, which is the lodge I'm a part of.
Right.
There is Cosmopolitan Lodge number 21, who also celebrated their anniversary on the same day as us, and there's Dan Rubin number 33.
Great. And I mean, Mr. Regis, anything else you want to say before we close?
Well, what I would like to say is that people need to be inspired to do good, right? And from the highest levels of society to the lowest levels of society, we must be able to unite, to come together, to provide that inspiration. If it is we are not willing to provide that inspiration, we then have to accept the results that is occurring in society right now.
Yeah. Right? All right. Well, Mr. Regis, thank you so much for joining us this morning on the Now Show. And of course, again, congratulations on your 57th anniversary. And I'm hoping that you could continue with the good work that you are doing.
Thank you very much, ma'am.
You're on the Now Morning Show. We're going to take a break and be right back. Stay with us.